we've got another match to come, and it promises to be a real corker as well.
Zwyciężczynią pierwszej półfinałowej walki szpacistek okazała się reprezentantka Rumunii Simona German. To ona awansowała do wielkiego finału. Natomiast Polka Renata
With our second semifinal coming up in women's epee, then we will pick up with the men's saber semifinals. And then our two gold medal matches around our two final individual champions for this European Championships.
SZASZ. The winner of the first women's epee semi-final is representing Romania, Simona German. And the second semi-final is just about to start. We're gonna see representing Romania, Anna Maria POPESCU, and representing Hungary, SZASZ.
So the SZASZ to your left, POPESCU, formerly known as Anna Maria Branza. To your right, she's won a few things, hasn't she?
Yeah, just a bit. Through this tournament, she's beaten Kusk of Estonia, Shemikina of Ukraine, and then her teammate Pop to make it through to the semi-finals. SZASZ, also a well-known name amongst epee fencers and fencers alike. In fact, she came through Fauch of Luxembourg, Dubova of Czech Republic, and Luganova, the world number 4 of Russia, in the quarterfinals to make it here. This is a big one. The other two, it was the world number 20 against the world number 39. This is the world number 11 in POPESCU against the world number 7 in SZASZ. But gotta say, POPESCU took it a bit easy this season. She didn't turn up to every event.
The second semi-final is underway. Not sure the referee's microphone is on. No.
We're certainly not going to see any craziness from POPESCU in this the early stages of this match. And SZASZ is matching her for patience as well at the moment, and coming out on top. But POPESCU will just carry on working hard, using the time. She's not going to try and race through this or try and race to recover a 3-hit deficit at this early stage. We've got a tactical battle ahead of us. There's such a contrast to Sabre, isn't it?
Indeed.
No time to think in Sabre.
The distance control is needless to say extremely important. In fencing. I think those first 3 points collected by SZASZ, either she was using distance, very, very well, or, was POPESCU just getting in too close without a finish?
Well, it's two things, I think. I mean, it's a good point. They're both keeping fairly conservative distance from each other. But there are two things for me. SZASZ is keeping that point around the bell of POPESCU's épée, around the guard of the épée. So any exposure of the bottom of the wrist, the side of the wrist, or the top of the wrist, she's punishing. And she's only had maybe 4 opportunities, and she's scored on 3 of them. The other thing that's telling in this, again, is the body position. You get a more classic, patient, upright on guard position from Anna POPESCU. And you probably see it here, look on the left, SZASZ leant right forwards. And that's what gives her this opportunity, because she's, if you like, she can get her sword closer to her opponent before her opponent can get their sword close to you.
She moved her point just a matter of centimeters to score that.
Millimeters. It's hovering around the top of the guard the whole time.
Here we go, our second period in our second semi-final.
Back into that crouch forward position. And look, okay, in contrast, POPESCU upright completely. Now she's keeping her sword low and out of the way, or certainly her hand.
Wasn't that the first time that SZASZ has really made an aggressive attack?
No, yeah, but it's just lost her patience there. She sticks with this game plan of just picking POPESCU off. That's where she's benefited. She's putting just a little bit more pressure on her. Now we've got a question of non-combativity coming in, and I think this won't work out for SZASZ, and I think that's maybe why she's pressing a little bit. She doesn't want the fight to go down to a final period or even a final minute of non-combativity. POPESCU is a battle-hardened individual and loves to fence in those intense 1-minute periods at the end of fights. Referee's got to be thinking about it. He's going to call it. It's after the halt, and he's called a non-combativity, and they're going to move on to the next period. He's quite right. There's no need for this from SZASZ. He's quite right. He called halt before the final action took place.
He's got his microphone on now.
That's the Swedish referee, isn't it?
I believe so. Grönholm.
Yeah,
That's his call. He said, I called halt. You hit after the call.
In fact, and she hit on a counter-attack as well. It was Popescu's lunge that came just after Peter Grönholm called halt, of course, stopped the fight. And the whole purpose of non-combativity is to ensure that this is a spectacle and that we do get the fencers fighting each other. We saw an interesting fight yesterday in the men's épée, though, where the referee didn't call for non-combativity, and the fight went on for 1 minute and 30 seconds without a hit being scored. But both fencers were very clearly going at each other, but they were just perfect in their defence. And it took 1 minute and 30 seconds for one of them to actually land, but the referee refused to call halt for non-combativity because it wasn't. There was no non-combativity. They were fencing each other.
For those who are not familiar, after a non-combativity call, the match rolls directly into the next period without a 1 minute break. So we are now in the third. If we have a non-combativity call again, we will go to a 1 minute period called a non-combativity priority minute, where one fencer is awarded priority, but it is not sudden death. Double there.
Well, it looks like both of them are keen for that not to happen. And I think now it's actually in Popescu's hands to not have non-combativity, to have this full 3 minute period. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that Popescu could level up here. Then they play out this final period and we have a sort of standard priority minute. Again, no rush from the Romanian.
Popescu built it. Got the leveling point. Would there be any advantage for them to go for non-combativity now?
Well, only that you would get the full minute. I suppose you minimise the risk of going out on a sudden death hit. So I don't know. At this stage, there's still 1 minute and 10 seconds of fencing left, and you know you've got a chance to win the match in those 1 minute and 10 seconds. You could score 3 or 4 hits, or go 3 or 4 hits in the lead if you fence carefully and properly. I doubt he's going to call non-combativity now. We're inside the last minute. SZASZ needs to be patient. She needs to wait for these opportunities to pick off around the wrist again. Popescu's being deliberately difficult though, using her blade, moving it around all over the place now, whereas at the beginning she wasn't doing that. Now she's just asking to wipe her face. Hard work fencing. Now it's down to SZASZ to press, and I think this is going to play into Popescu's hand. She's stolen the lead at the crucial time. And she's a master of the defensive game. Oh, look at that. Playing with SZASZ's blade. As soon as SZASZ just drops her concentration for a split second, opens the door, Popescu's right on there. What a great shot that was.
Well, now SZASZ has to press, and that only plays into the hands of the defending fencer. Doubles absolutely no use to SZASZ.
Just pointing a look on the Hungarian coach's face there. Resigned to defeat. This is the worst position to be in against Popescu in the closing seconds. She's got to keep going for her though. Why not? So you may be wondering, why do they dance around for 9 minutes and then have it all out in the last 10 seconds? Well, that's epic. That's how it works. You've got to try and edge into the lead well, before you get to the closing stages. That's the idea of the game. And so you do often find these explosive finishes.
A bit of flourish there for Anna Maria Popescu doesn't work exactly right.
She doesn't want to do that again.
She's in. She's putting herself in a really difficult situation.
The clock ran down then. The referee's going to have to go and reset it. He knows that. There were 2 seconds, 2.29 seconds, I think, left. And I think Popescu has just got to run away.
Well, now, the referee is saying, I called LA.
Well, I think Sasha's got a good argument here to say she didn't hear because the crowd were going wild. The referee's got to reset the clock here.
I would agree. I would agree because we would have heard him call it if his microphone had been on. We've got the directoire technique is out now. I think that they're going to compel him to reset the clock to 2 seconds.
I hope so, because we didn't hear anything up here, and they're saying the fight's over. That's it. That's not the best ending to this fight. It's unfortunate, but I've got to say, the referee has been supported by the directoire technique, and I do agree with that. Sometimes they do have clangers, but if he said fence and one fence, if Popescu says I heard you and I stood still, then it's one fencer's word against another. But I think they're going to lodge a big appeal here. Sasha's refusing to shake hands, which means, well, basically what that means is at the end of a fight, if a fencer refuses to shake hands, technically the fight is not over and an appeal can be lodged. If she does shake hands, then that is a signal that the fight's over and she's accepted defeat.
I think the Russian team captain, or team head, is now over with the 2 members of the directoire technique, so we may very well get a challenge to this.
Well, I think you might find that's the Hungarian
sorry,
head.
What did I say?
The Russian.
Right, sorry, Hungarian. We can see the discussion there. Probably best we can't hear it.
That's Evgeny Suklo, head of the directoire technique, head of the organising committee. Oh, camera right in his face, and there's a supporting act. And what a supporting act it is. Yana Dakova, also on the organising committee, listening intently to what the Hungarian chef de mission has to say.
Well, Anna Maria Branza has yet to remove her mask and is standing patiently there.
To be fair to Anna Maria Popescu, she was Branza, I don't think she would feel hard done by if they did reset the clock. She's a very fair individual, and I think that she would be happier to win this without any question, without any argument. Now they're looking at the video replay there. You can see 2:15 or 3:39 on the clock. That's before the last hit. That is the last hit that we had in the fight. 2:15 left on the clock. Now I think that if they're looking at this, they're trying to work out how much time was left on the clock, and they'll reset it to 2:15.
Well, that is Anna Pascu there, who's vice president of the FIE and Romanian.
Big discussion. There's Peter Grunholm on the left, just popped into shot. SZASZ is sitting on her mask on the piste. Deep concern, but I mean, what she's got to do, she's got to shake this off. The appeal is being lodged by her federation, and she just needs to clear her mind in preparation for potentially having to fence another 2.15 seconds, and she's got to score in that time. The other option, of course, is they all decide that is the end of the fight, and we've taken the appeal, considered it, and we've rejected it. Bit of drama here in the second
Indeed.
semi-final. We need a quick decision here. We need to get this decision made, and we need to get on with it whichever way it is.
Well, the decision is coming out now.
Oh, I think he's going to say the fight's over. We have to shake hands. She's nodding her head, and I think maybe he's saying, will you agree that there's 2.15 seconds left on the clock?
They're resetting the clock.
Yeah.
They are resetting it.
So 2.15 is what we saw on the slow motion replay screen when they froze it.
Now, I think one of the factors here may be the fact that Anna Maria POPESCU, she didn't move either. I think if POPESCU had started and SZASZ didn't move, didn't react.
And there it is, 2.15 seconds. He's going to have to shout this to make sure they both hear it. She's going backwards. Right. It is possible to get to your opponent in 0.82 of a second, but I fancy POPESCU is going to go right backwards as quick as she can with her arm out.
And the clock runs out, and we do now come to the end of this semi-final match. It is Anna Maria POPESCU who will go to the gold medal match. SZASZ collects the bronze, and we